Dr. Aminu Hayatu is a senior lecturer of political science and international studies at the Bayero University in Kano. Dr. Hayatu undertook research in mob violence in Nigeria and joins us now for some perspective on the matter. Thank you very much for giving us your time. There's been a lot of talk, conspiracy theory and all of that. Talk to us about the simple interpretation that can be given to the cause of mob violence in Edo State and perhaps in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I think it is important to make this clarification from the beginning for our listeners to understand that the Edo incident is not an isolated incident in Nigeria. You know, for over a very long period of time, this menace of mob violence has been happening in different geographical areas of the Nigerian state. And it is not restricted to one particular geographical area. This is a trend that cuts out geographical areas. There is barely no state in Nigeria that has not experienced mob violence or a form of mob justice, you know, due to one reason or the other. And in fact, I had the opportunity to, on behalf of one international organization, lead a team of researchers on this very issue of mob violence. And without, I mean, one of our major findings is that, you know, people are getting to resort to mob violence because of many reasons, one of which is their lack of confidence in the justice system of Nigeria and even in the policing, you know, system of Nigeria. Many have reported that the reason why they take laws into their hands is because they don't get to see that suspects are being prosecuted properly and action taken against, you know, offenders. And this has been, you know, a response across all the areas that we've conducted this research. That is to tell you that part of the reason why the mob violence has actually, you know, endured in Nigeria is because of this lack of public confidence in the police and judicial system. And then another reason is that, you know, people tend to, you know, not be properly educated on the very processes they are expected to follow whenever they encounter such problems. And that calls for a very, you know, wide, you know, appeal and awareness, you know, in public education. And so this is the reason. So the case of Edo is actually a pathetic one, and is really something that has, again, you know, served as a wake-up call, you know, for authorities in Nigeria to put in place all the expected mechanisms that are supposed to check the rampant happening of mob violence in Nigeria.
All right,
because
Dr. Hayatu,
the shortcoming of, you know, the placement of police authorities in marketplaces, in motor parks, you know, where it is expected that these things are actually happening.
All right, talk to us about this effort in some quarters to put a correlation between violence and ethnicity and religion, trying to connect it when such incidents occur. Could you disabuse that concept or validate it as something that needs further scrutiny?
You know, initially, the menace of mob violence didn't have this, you know, coloration in terms of ethnicity or religion. But because of the increasing polarization and ethnization and politicization of our issues in Nigeria, you know, some of these cases of mob violence have turned out to be, you know, as a result of this ethnicization or religionization of the issues that arise as a result of mob violence. And, you know, even to the extent that from our findings, you know, this issue of when anything happening, people jump to conclusion to say that certain part of the population are actually targeted specifically because of their reason. And, but in the case of Edo, you know, it has actually got a background, with the way the people think that they have been attacked by the Fulani headsman. But a broader analysis will reveal that there would have been the need for proper investigation, by whoever is there to ensure that really these people are the bandits that they suspect. And even if they are bandits, they are expected to have actually taken, not have taken the law into their hands. They would have actually subjected them to the course of law so that action would be taken against that. And normally, as it was said, that they have presented evidence that they were not bandits. Even the weapons they are carrying are licensed, and they have shown evidence of the license and so on. So, but because of this increasing phenomenon of politicization of everything, then of course we tend to see, the proliferation of, these attacks based on ethnicity or religion or even sectional sentiments and precedents. That's the precedence that has actually taken place long ago, and it is increasingly, becoming a phenomenon across the Nigerian state.
All right, talk to us from your studies of ways to address mob violence and its attendant impact. How would you assess the response of the Edo State government and security agencies to this incident in de-escalating tensions that could have come, or generally overall ensuring that this does not go the other way?
No, I think it is clear to everyone so far that the Edo State government and her mercenaries are really, really very serious about, taking measures on this incidents that has happened. To the extent that the governor has paid, a visit to the state where most of these, victims came from. And it is evident that they are all on gear to make sure that they do what is necessary. And of course, like I said earlier, from our findings, one of the reasons why these things get escalated is because of the authorities, lack of taking proper measures like, investigation, prosecution, taking proper steps in ensuring that justice is done, to the victims. The victims and, the families of the victims will be convinced, and of course their kinsmen, that justice is served when they see that the government that is responsible to do what it's supposed to do has actually stood up to its responsibility to be able to, get justice for them. And this is very important. That visit is very important. And even the extent to which, we had the governor, mentioning that about 14 people have been apprehended and are going to be subjected to the justice system so that investigations will be properly conducted. And, they are not going to spare anyone who is found, guilty of this offense. Right. And I think this is very important. This will help a long way, in deterring and de-escalating the tendencies for mob violence across Nigeria, because people will know that definitely the authorities will find them wherever they are.
Dr. Hayatu, thank you very much for your input tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.